Since the beginning of designing graphic user interfaces, people tend to reach for metaphors of our daily life. So the most obvious one, we can go back to 1984, and we've got the metaphor of our desk. I'm sure you all know it. We've got folders there, files, notes, pictures, and there had to be some adjustment made, so they had to invent like scroll bars to get to the content that is clipped by this very, very small window. But they also had to design icons. And icons were very new to the computing world. And one of those icons was this trash can designed by Susan Kerr. And she designed all the icons in the Mac system. She also designed Mac Paint. But this trash can, the metaphor is very easy. So we can take some stuff that we don't want to have anymore, put them in the trash, and if we change our mind, we can just dig in this trash. It's kind of gross, but we can still take it out and, well, use it, kinda. And if we don't want it, we can just empty the trash and we will never see this stuff again. So you don't have to explain how the trash can works. We already know it, right? And this trash can is also in my Yosemite, right? It's still there. It's maybe a little bit more 3D, translucent, has colorful pictures inside, but still it works exactly the same. So Susan Kerr had also designed all of those icons. The icon in the upper left corner, well, it was used too long. A lot of people that never saw a real floppy disk in the right corner, sorry, still knew that this icon means saving, right? So this is bizarre. She also designed this little fellow, and for a very long time, I'm a Mac user since 1991, and I was born in 1982, so that really means something. I didn't know what this icon stands for. It's just, you know, a command button, right? Last year, I went to Norway for a similar talk like that, and they were driving me around, and I saw this sign, and I said, whoa, it must be some kind of Apple call center or something like that. Well, they told me, no, you know, this is very, very old sign, and it's marking a place of interest, like some kind of tourist attraction. Okay, I checked that out, and indeed, Susan Kerr, when she was designing this mark, Steve Jobs told her we can't have an Apple logo on this button, and we can't have Apple logo everywhere because you will be abusing this Apple logo, right? Even though Apple logo was on the command button for a long time, that's why in Poland everybody's calling still this button Jabłko. So, okay, she thought I have to design something else, and she took some kind of pictorial dictionary, and she just found this icon and said, okay, that's great, I like it. And she still didn't know what this icon means, right? So after a very long time, somebody told her, that this actually is another metaphor that was creeping to her from the analog world. Because this is a very old sign for places of interest in the Scandinavian countries, and this is actually a castle from the top, right? So when I listened to her talk and she told about this story, I thought about similar experience that I had of this analog world creeping into my digital space. So I was looking at this form for a very long time, for my whole book designer life. And there is one term here that I was always mispronouncing as leading, and this is leading, and I really didn't know what it stands for, even though I spent 1 year of my life typesetting real types made of LED. So leading is putting LED between lines to move them apart. Again, an analog world is entering our digital space. So there are a lot of very good examples of when this analog metaphor can help us. One of them is the first iPhone with this first iOS designed under the Forstall dictatorship. And everyone knew, looking at this slider, that you have to move this button and something great will happen, right? Because you have like this physical rails here with this heavy button, and it's not a flat design, it's very skeuomorphic design, but everyone knows that you have to slide it here. You don't, even without this slide to unlock, we would slide it because it's kind of obvious. And my point is not flat design versus skeuomorphic design. It's not about that, because here an example of iOS design with the skeuomorphic stuff, and here is flat design, but still we have a simple calculator. And this is so senseless that I'm using my microcomputer, and this microcomputer have all those constraints of a dumb physical object. The better way of calculating is like Solware, right? This is a software when you simply type, you just write using English, and it calculates for you, right? I don't need to see layout of a calculator. It is totally senseless. And where I'm going to is another metaphor that was taken from a real life and was taken in a very, very bad way. Only the bad stuff was taken, and everything that's good was left behind. And I'm talking about books and particularly typography. The first iPad had this installment of iBooks. And when I saw that I can move a virtual digital page, I just wanted to go and vomit, because I thought that this stuff was long, long gone. Like, it died with Adobe Flash and other things like that. I don't want to turn pages on a screen. This is senseless. If somebody wants to do it and he's sitting here, just go and see a doctor. It's really a problem. But what else was wrong? Maybe you can't see it here. Maybe I will show it on another device. The typography is so shitty that I really don't want to use it, even though I have a lot of Kindles and I really like them as the devices, but I really can't look at it. And so the main two problems with designing today for screens, and this part is very important if you're talking about user experience, because this is the layer that user is really seeing, is typography and layouts. And you're going to say, wait. Modern web is all about typography, right? We're very good typographers. Well, screen designers are really shitty typographers, and you should know it by looking at any screen that there is. And they are too proud to learn from the print designers that have like 500 years of experience, and they really know what they're doing. And layouts, again, we know everything about great layouts. We're doing responsive web design, and we're changing the layouts wherever our screen is rotating. Yeah, but you're doing it wrong, and I will prove it to you. So, first of all, details. I want to have some digits on my website, and I think that's pretty simple. I would just enter digits, and they will be just standing there, right? Well, wrong. You have different types of digits, and you should use digits that are designed for a specific task. Like, let's say you want to have a leaderboard, a high scoreboard, right? You can't use those digits because they're not designed to show high scores one under the other, right? Because one have a different width than 2 and 3 and so on, and you really can't just look at the numbers and see which number is the greatest if you have like numbers that have only 3 digits. So what are you going to do? You will use a tabular numbers, right? Where every number has exactly the same width. Other example. These weird little things. Anybody knows what they are? Or okay, they're not just students from the academy are raising their hands. They are not, just funny-looking things. They're called old style in English, which has its meritical, something, but in Polish we call them cyfry nautyczne, and the better way of calling them in English is lowercase numbers. Because I don't know if you know that letters have uppercase form and lowercase form. You've probably seen it in books. So, surprise, same things you've got with numbers. So, if you want to write a text, you will never write a text using uppercase inside of your sentence. So, you should never write a text using uppercase figures inside of a sentence. Easy. Okay, so those are details. And I'm starting with details because whenever I see it, I got a big headache. And my students know that when they come with something like that, I will hit them hard. Okay. Does anyone see any problems with this typesetting? Hands up, please. Ah, okay, great. A lot of academy students. Okay, so whenever I see something like that, I'm really banging my head on the wall because if you're not familiar in Polish language, you might not know it, but in Polish language, if you graduated from like primary school, you should never leave single letters on the end of your line. Those are junction letters, and they look totally awful. If you don't have a headache looking at it, you're probably not a typographer, and you're much happier, right? When I see something like that, and I see it constantly, I really, have nausea and so on. So what should we do? It's very easy. I think that a lot of people are ignoring this on the screen because they're thinking it's a technical issue. No, it's not. You can just, like in your CMS, you can just enter non-breaking space after every this bugger instead of just single space, right? Easy, done. Okay, harder things. Things that will make your users read slower or they simply stop reading. Do you see any problems with this text? Yeah, you probably do. And it's not, you don't have to read it. But there are some good things about it that you can see lowercase numerals inside it. But the bad things are, when you want to justify a text from left to right, you have to put a space inside the line or take it away, right? Easy, because normally you will not have this straight lines. So here, there was so many space taken from the space between the words that you can't really see where the word is ending and the new word is starting. Another problem is that there are places when there is too many space between words, right? So you can see this. Okay, this problem. What can we do? Okay, it not only looks better, but it's really much more easy to read. Because when we're reading a whole line of text, we're not really reading single letters. We're just looking at it. And all those letters are designed in a way that they are just sending you signs. And you don't have to N, A, space, L, O. Okay, I get it. No, you're just looking at it and you know what's written there. When you have those holes inside, you can't really do it. So you have to slow down. So what I did here is very easy. So I turned on hyphenation, right, first thing. And I did what every type designer is doing. So I changed the setting where the space is being put, right? So it can be put between the words, and in CSS and in default InDesign, every space is going to be put between the words. This is wrong, because you have to put a little bit space between letters. Okay, can I do it in CSS? The simple answer is no. Why? Because in new CSS, there is a hyphenation feature, but it's not very well supported, and it's also language sensitive. So in your parent element, you have to give a lang attribute and say, okay, this is Polish, and if your web browser is supporting this language, not your operating system, but your web browser, you will be fine. But that's not all. CSS will not put any space between your letters. You will have only space between your words. So the only thing you can do is just align your text. And it's really not bad. It's much more easy to read. And as you can see in the new installment of iBooks, they learned about it, and they have everything quite nice. They even did one thing that I really like, and I hate it when I see it in books, that the first paragraph does not have paragraph intent. And does anybody know why? Please raise your hand. Yeah, Łukasz Dziedzit knows. So what is the function of paragraph intent? It's showing where the new paragraph begins, right? The first paragraph, we really know where it begins, right? So we don't have to indent it. And well, the history of those intents is also funny, because it's just leftover. When they were writing books by hand, they used to put some nice little thing at the beginning of the line, and then they ran out of money for paying the guys that were drawing those nice things, and we're just left with the intent. Okay, the other bad thing that a lot of screen designers are doing are layouts. So why layouts? We're really so good at layouts. Like the Boston Globe, everybody was saying that this is so great, layouts, because it's great on a wide screen, it's super great on my iPad, and it's even better on my phone. And it's grid-based layout, so I can just move all those modules around, and it's really working great. Well, actually, grid-based design is very, very old. You can read, Tischhold wrote a lot about it, and it was really done before. So now when I read that screen designers are discovering it from the beginning, and they're saying that we can divide our screen in grids, and we can put elements in this grid, and we can just move the same size elements of this grid around. Well, that's, the basic level. That's what we teach our first-year students, and then, it's like ABC. What we actually can do is divide our page, screen, or whatever in modules that have different widths. So why should we do it? This grid-based design is used by screen designers to create responsive web design, right? To move those modules around. In print, it's used to have a very diversified layouts. This is what newspapers and magazines are really good. They're using grids to bring you content in a very, very different way, depending on the content. And you could say, no, it's undoable on the screen, because we have post with an image, with a title, with a lead, and people are looking at any type of screen magazine, and day by day, minute by minute, because it's updated regularly, not just every morning you go to your favorite website and you will have a different text. No, you will have different text every 5 minutes, but it's always in the same, presented to you in the same way. It doesn't really mean, it doesn't really matter how beautiful this initial layout is, because it's always the same, even though the image is changing, the title is changed, but it always looks the same. You can't do anything about it. And imagine that you've created a CMS where you have modules, and the guy or woman that are putting the content inside can just move those images and text around those modules, and they have preview for different devices, like say some vertical tablet and some horizontal phone and something like that. This is not really hard because it's already done in a lot of ebook design programs, right? It's really, we've been there. We don't have to discover it again, and we can create a really diversified websites. And I would really like to see them. So thank you. That is all.